Hi, welcome back to another episode of Positive Talks with Mary. I'm Mary McKay, and today we have another great discussion. But first, let me ask, do you ever feel like you're handed with what seems an impossible task and you're just like, what? You're shocked. You're just wondering how in the world something like this could ever come together. Yeah, okay, I've been there too. Stressing out, just worrying more about the how will it come together, than worrying about what I can do right now. In the Bible, Jesus' 12 disciples sort of experience the same type of feeling, and this happens in the New Testament in Mark in chapter 6 when Jesus feeds thousands. And now I have heard and I have read this story several times, but the other day I came back to it and I was re-looking over it again, and it sort of made me think, and it made me ask myself, what do I do when I am handed an impossible task? Now, do I get up and do I try to figure it out and do the best that I can do with what was just handed to me? Or do I stand in shock, stand in amazement with the look of like, really? How am I supposed to do that? And honestly, more often than not, I am sort of met with the same type of reaction that the disciples had. Like, okay, there's no way that I can do this. See, in this story, Mark describes the time that Jesus' disciples were met on the shore, on the beach, with tons of people waiting and wanting to see Jesus. The crowds were huge. And the disciples were like, okay, Jesus, send them away, let them go to the villages and feed themselves and we can have some quiet time and rest. And Jesus was like, okay, hold up, you feed them. And they replied by saying, with what? What are we supposed to feed all of these people with? It would take months of work for us to get money to feed the crowd of people that is here right now. And Jesus told them, go out and find how much bread that you have. So they came back to Jesus and they reported, okay, we only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. So now this is like the turning point in the story, because Jesus was just like, okay, he looked up in the sky and he blessed and he broke the bread into pieces, divided the fish in half, and everybody ate. Everybody was full. And again, this was a very large crowd, not like 15 people. So what started out as, again, 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish ended up feeding 5,000 men and women and children. Everybody was full. Everybody ate whatever they could. And I mean, what a miracle that not only the disciples got to witness, but the thousands of people they were there on the beach, on the shore, wanting and waiting to meet Jesus. They all witnessed this miracle right in front of their face. And just a little bit before this, the disciples were tasked with what seemed like an impossible task of feeding thousands of people with just the very little food that they had. And Jesus told them, go out, find what you could, which they did, and they brought back to him. Sometimes when that mountain is in front of us and that impossible task doesn't even seem the tiniest bit possible, you can only do what you can do, like the things that are within our own human limit. But once you can do what you can do, you did all that you could do, you have to give Jesus the rest. He worked a miracle right in front of thousands of people. Even if that was 1,000 years ago, he can do the exact same thing in your life. So what seems impossible to us is nothing to Christ, because he can do exceedingly. He can do abundantly more than you can ask or think. And he satisfied the people's hunger right there on that shore, and he can satisfy the needs in your life right now today. So do the things that you can do and lay the rest at his feet, and believing and trusting that he can work out those difficulties in your life, that he can provide in those areas of your life that you've been struggling with, that he can open those doors for you. He can have new opportunities for you, and he can make that impossible task possible. And Jesus can do all of that in your life. You just have to believe, and you just have to have the faith. And oftentimes we can read these stories in the Bible and we can be amazed and like in awe of how he is working in other people's lives and the miracles that are taking place around the world. But sometimes, I think we have the hardest time, and maybe we even refuse to believe that Jesus would come to our aid in a time of need, that he would come into my life or come into your life and do something. Even though we hear these stories, we just don't want to believe that he is capable of helping us. Jesus said in Mark 6:50, "Don't be afraid. Take courage. I am here." And that is what Jesus said to his disciples soon after he fed the thousands of people. See, after all of this, everybody ate and was going their own way. The disciples got back on the boat. They were going to head across the lake, and Jesus stayed back and was praying alone and on the hilltop by himself. And the waves and the wind started picking up, and the disciples were on the boat, and they were scared. They were scared for the life and the storm that they were facing right then. And suddenly they saw something coming towards them in the water, and it was Jesus. He was walking on the water. And when the disciples saw him, they were scared. And once they realized it was him, they were still scared. They were terrified, thinking that it was a ghost, but it was only Jesus. He was walking on water. Jesus jumped in the boat, and the waves and the wind immediately stopped, just came to a calm flat. And that is the power of Jesus. And even the disciples, it's crazy to me that they just witnessed this miracle right in front of their eyes. They still did not fully believe in the power of Jesus and the reason that he was here on earth, the reason that he came to earth in the first place. They were lacking the faith that they needed to take that next step. So are you lacking faith? Are you wondering if Jesus will come to your aid? Remember what he said. Don't be afraid. Take courage. I am here. And it is so important that you fully believe and you fully put all of your faith in him, that he is for you, that he's not against you, that he is always, always with you, right beside you. And since Jesus is always with you, you can count on him to help you get through these impossible tasks. You can count on him to help you face that mountain, that challenge, that difficulty that's going on in your life. So put all of your faith in him. Put your faith in his word, in his plan for your life, and watch the great things that he will do in your life. So I just hope that, the next time that you're faced with an impossible task and you have this huge mountain in front of you and you're just staring up looking like, okay, what am I going to do? How can I do this? Just do what you can do and turn to God and let him handle the rest and let him use his mighty power to help you in your life. So I hope this encouraged you and I hope this inspired you today. And in my last video, I go over some practical ways to help you stay motivated. And we all have goals and dreams and things that we want to do in our life, but a lot of times we're just lacking the motivation that we need to actually get things done and to see those dreams and goals actually come to life. So I'll link that down in the description below. Make sure to check it out. And if you haven't already done it, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and you can even press the bell button so you'll be notified on all the videos out and everything that we're doing on this channel. I'm so thankful for every single person who watches, who comments, who's subscribed and followed. I appreciate every single one of you, and it just makes such a difference and a positivity in my life. So thank you for that. Comment below your thoughts on this video and what you do when you're lacking faith and when you're having this impossible task right in front of you. I would love to hear from you, so just make sure to comment below. And if you're on Instagram, make sure to follow my Instagram page. It's just Positive Talks with Mary. A lot of good things are going on there, and I'm just super excited about this year and all the good things to come. So yeah, I'll see you back here next week with another video.